Hi, I'm Brendon, and this is my story of gratitude. So, the last year, starting November 2022, has been quite a roller coaster for us and our family, and we've been through quite a bit. So let's start at the beginning. November last year, we found out that both my mother and my grandfather have cancer. So, immediately, that was a big shock. Going into my 30th year, I turned 30 in January. Unfortunately, we lost my grandfather just before that, I think on the 16th of January. So turning 30, you start off the year quite rough. Fortunately, I have a good group of people around me. We could celebrate my 30th birthday and continue, start the year as strong as we could. 2023 has been a real roller coaster for us. Extreme highs, quite a few lows, as mentioned, my grandfather. So there's a lot of, things behind how we got to the place that we are currently, and how Christ or Jesus, helped us grow through it and grow a relationship through that. Because before that, I would say yes, I was a Christian, but probably more in the sense of, just you grew up as a Christian. You do the things because that's kind of what you're taught to do. Where this year, the journey I've went through, the community I've joined has taught me it's much more than that. It's a relationship. It's not a task. And so just continuing on my story, how the year was a roller coaster. So I got married in April, the 22nd of April, which obviously was a very big high for us. We had the wedding of our dreams, married, my best friend. It was an awesome night, an awesome experience. We could also then go on, the honeymoon of our dreams. We could go to Europe. We visited a couple of countries. And it was an extreme high of the year, obviously, but we also then started to hit a couple of lows when we were on honeymoon. So towards the end of the honeymoon, I started feeling unwell. And actually one morning I was rushed to the emergency room because I had heart palpitations, extreme high heart rate, bit of tight chest, things like that. And I got to the emergency room. They didn't think too much of it. They didn't treat me for any serious condition. I was out of the hospital a few hours later. Fortunately, for other reasons, I already had an appointment for a cardiologist when I got back. But when we got back, I went to see the cardiologist and I was feeling, fluish, fever, temper, quite fatigued, sleep, night sweats, things like that. So I wasn't too concerned about, anything serious, but, I don't know what the explanation is, but I was treated for anxiety, and because of, the anxiety I had, or the thought of anxiety, the doctors thought I had anxiety, and I always thought it wasn't, it wasn't a mental thing, it was kind of a physical thing, that something was wrong with me, and that's why I had the cardiologist appointment. So it wasn't related to what happened on the honeymoon itself. But long story short, I had a heart, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a heart incident when we were on honeymoon. And fortunately, I was going to see the cardiologist anyway. So when we got to the cardiologist, I also had a tooth infection. I saw the cardiologist, and immediately when he started looking at my scans and my sonars, he noticed something was wrong. He noticed there was a growth on my heart, and my heart valve wasn't closing. One of my heart valves wasn't closing as it should, and that concerned him quite a lot. So, going from a honeymoon, a week later, seeing the cardiologist, telling me that the Monday that I'll have to go back to hospital. They're gonna, I'm gonna be there for 4 weeks. They're gonna have to start me on a journey of antibiotics for 4 weeks. And having that kind of doubt and fear and things thrown into your mind, it kind of accelerated my journey to get involved with Jesus and really build that relationship. And I took the decision with my wife to get baptized just before we went into the hospital. And unfortunately, Dr. Dale was kind enough to fit us in that Sunday morning, and it really changed our lives. Not just the baptism, but the whole experience and the whole community we formed part of. So something amazing happened. The first week I was in hospital, because what they do is every 4 hours they come and take blood samples to check. They need to find out what kind of bacteria is in your body, what kind of bacteria was on my heart, was causing all of these effects, all of these heart palpitations, tightness of chest. So for the first 3 days they didn't start the antibiotics, because once they find out what bacteria it is, it's easier to treat. So they kind of leave you to get progressively worse till they can find out what's wrong with you or what bacteria is living inside you. And something amazing happened, that every day I started becoming a bit better, and they couldn't find the bacteria. So after 3 days of testing and trying, and they were quite concerned at the start of this whole process that this could get quite bad, because a heart infection is pretty serious. They found out that, they didn't find any trace of the infection anymore. So instead of 4 weeks in the hospital, I spent 3 days and basically just went through a couple of tests. Nothing, no antibiotics, no medication. I just went home after 3 days, which was a small miracle in itself. And within the time, I got to meet quite a few people, talk. And it's not me, I'm not a person, that talks about my religion that much, or talks about my personality or my personal life with strangers. And within that first 3 days, I met approximately 10 people, and we all shared our story about Christ and about Jesus, which was quite amazing, especially for someone like me that's quite personal in that sense. So after that, I went back to the hospital for just a couple of checkups and scans, and they found out that my valve was still leaking, and it was probably due to a birth defect that was now made worse because of the infection that was on my heart for a couple of days. And I had to go in for a valve replacement surgery, and they wanted to do it as soon as possible, because the longer they leave it, the worse it gets, and the more serious the condition becomes. So a week later, I was in hospital getting ready for the heart surgery. Obviously a big shock. Being 30 years old, it's not the way you probably think of celebrating the 30th year of your life, but it's a challenge, I think. I try to approach in not why me, but rather change the question around and say, why not me? I've obviously been chosen for this for a reason, and maybe it's to inspire my friends. Maybe it's, just like this, sharing my story of my journey through religion and through Christ, how it helped me through this difficult time. And we went in for the heart surgery, and it was successful. It was so successful, I was back home 5 days after the surgery. So that's including a couple of days ICU recovery. From operation till going home was 5 days, which is quite miraculous. Just thinking the extent of the surgery, what they do. It was a full open heart surgery. They had to cut open my chest bone, and they had to put my heart on a bypass machine. So it was quite a big operation. And after that, I got 3 months to spend, with myself, because I wasn't allowed to go back to work. I wasn't allowed to do much after that. I was just at home for I think it was 3 months. I was booked off. And that allowed me to, kind of spend more time, with this journey I've started this year, spending more time in the gospel, reading my Bible, getting to know, kind of Jesus in a personal way, which I've never had not never had the opportunity before, but never taken the time to do, to be honest. And sometimes, God gives you something like this in life, not to challenge you, but to give you that time to, get to know Him. And that's kind of how I wanted to do it, and what me and my wife made of the situation. So this was just a scary year so far. It's not ended yet. My mom is also, she was diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer, and she's walking her own journey with God, and the miracles that she's had in her life is also amazing. I mean, she's still a year later doing well. I haven't seen someone take on chemo like she has. It's been an amazing journey as well. So I'm Brendon. This is my story, and I just want to emphasize that, sometimes things happen not because you did something wrong, but it's for you to, take a new path and look at your life differently.